designed to be just wide enough to fit a coffin.
You should take Xanax.
Maybe you should be the Minister of Tourism for adrenaline rush from the old Soviet buildings. That
Tribes that move around the Sahara, and they are like human GPS.
But Delft, I think, has the best architecture.
Or like a coffin houses in Hong Kong. So that's, you don't want to be there, you know, you don't want to live there. So
That will give you clinical depression.
Which is called панелька.
More than futuristic, it looks like ancient and futuristic at the same time. It's like from another planet.
So what can you do to improve someone's mood who has no choice but to live in a coffin?
I would change everything. Believe me. Open the doors.
Hello everyone. This is another episode of the Big Apple School podcast, where the goal of this show is to help you improve your English listening skills. My name is Benjamin. I'm from London and I work here at the Big Apple School. And today we had 3 participants. Our first participant is
Ayoub, with you.
Welcome. And second,
Ugur is here.
And last but not least,
Maria.
So welcome guys. So it's another chilly day in Novosibirsk. What's new in your lives? What's going on today?
It's getting warmer this week, so it's nice for taking some walks.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And what else is new? We have 3 black shirts today.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are watching the video portion of this podcast, you can see our wonderful fashion choices.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Yeah, nothing new, I guess.
Yeah, nothing new. New Year is coming.
Yeah, New Year's around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
New
talked
hopes and everything.
in our previous podcast, I believe we talked about the lights in the center of the city of Novosibirsk. Have you seen them, Maria?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like small Moscow in the center of
Mini
Siberia.
Moscow.
In Moscow. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, we mentioned in our previous podcast that Novosibirsk this year is the Russian New Year capital of this year.
Yeah.
I went through the list of activities. Oh, actually, I didn't find anything particularly interesting for me, so okay.
But what do the activities include?
Some workshops, I guess, and also parade and something which is called like the passing of a snowflake.
Oh, party of a snowflake.
Yeah, because, well, I guess the symbol of this New Year's capital is a snowflake made of something, I don't know, maybe wooden and they pass it like to a different city every year.
By the way, speaking of the logo of the snowflake, have you noticed the logo of Tolmachova Airport, which is the
snowflake?
Yeah, it's the snowflake, but have you looked closely at the logo? It's absolutely amazing. The snowflake is made up of planes.
Oh,
have you seen it? It's so cool.
Oh.
Of course, it's cool for you.
Yeah, man. It's your thing. Yeah. I will check it.
For those of you who are not familiar with Tolmachova Airport, it's the main airport here in Novosibirsk, and they have a pretty genius graphic designer who designed the logo for the airport. So type it in on Google and let us know your thoughts in the comments section, what you think of the logo, or if you know of any other cool logos that you want to share with us. Well, just some housekeeping to do for the podcast. I need to mention that you can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Yandex Podcasts, VK, and you can find the video version on YouTube, so you can see our beautiful selves speaking.
And black t-shirts.
And black t-shirts. And a wonderful sweater that you're wearing.
Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you to Valery Davidovsky. So thank you very much, Valery, for the nice long comment. And he suggested having a podcast about sleep. Coincidentally, we just had a podcast about sleep. So Valery, definitely recommend you check that out. But thank you very much for the long comment, and we very much appreciate it. And also, keep sharing your thoughts, Valery. And try your speaking skills in the Telegram chat with us. I also want to say thank you to another commenter who has a rather difficult to pronounce username. It's user-NF1RE608-7I. I'm not sure what your name is, but thank you very much for saying, I adore to listen to your podcasts in Apple Podcasts, I guess. But it's so interesting to see your emotions while you're speaking. Thank you for helping in studying English. Well, thank you very much, user -NF1RE60H71.
Maybe he's undercover or something.
Yes.
It sounds like Elon Musk's son, you know?
Elon Musk's son. Yeah. An automated comment. But thank you very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, we appreciate that. Also, I want to just mention that we have a private chat for those of you who are not familiar on Telegram. And there you can get access to the after show portion of this podcast with a very useful list of vocabulary, which you can use to improve your English skills. It's really useful. Also, you can discuss your thoughts and you can practice your English skills in the private chat itself on Telegram. And we recently just had a podcast about sounds, which is really interesting, given that we were talking about learning through listening. So definitely try out the private chat on Telegram. Also, other things to mention, which are really cool. We have a new kind of little podcast coming out, English Idioms in 30 Seconds, where you can see me discussing the various English idioms. And they're very short little podcasts, but you can find them on Apple Podcasts. And you can improve your knowledge of idioms while you're brushing your teeth or while you're driving or something. They're very short podcasts, but they will give you a new idiom every now and then. So be sure to check that out on the Apple Podcast channel. Also, this week, we had a new format of speaking club, which was an online speaking club, which was hosted on Telegram. And Katya, who's another teacher here at Big Apple School, she hosted a podcast about myths and misconceptions about second language learning. A lot of people participated in that, which was really good. And we saw people practicing their English on camera, and it was very good to build their confidence of speaking. Also, I had a speaking club on Telegram as well, which was on the topic of how to boost your English skills. We're going to have some more speaking clubs on Telegram, so definitely stay tuned to our Telegram chat and you can find out more information so you can be part of the conversation and you can get some chances to practice your English skills with us. And it's a supportive environment so you can make mistakes and not worry about what other people think. We have another comment here from Sanya, who participated in the speaking club with me. He said, "Thank you very much. It was my first speaking club with the Big Apple School. It was so cool. Now I'm studying a pre-intermediate level, but I understood almost everything. But I don't have enough confidence to speak to the audience who has a higher level than I. So I want to suppose you to make one speaking club for pre-intermediate level. You guys do great work. I listen to your podcast almost every day." Sanya, thank you very much. Do not be scared to participate. It's the best way to boost your confidence level. No one cares if you make a mistake. No one's going to point their fingers at you and get angry at you. Even if the level is higher in the speaking club, do not feel shy. Nobody's going to judge you for practicing your English. But thank you very much, Sanya, for being there. Also, Olga Sviridova, who participated in Katya's speaking club, said, "Let's speak about food next time." And Katya was very excited to respond to that by saying, "I'm all in, my favorite topic." So yeah, thank you, Olga, for participating and for showing your face on the chat. And if you missed the speaking club, you can you can listen to the recording of the speaking club in our private Telegram chat. And there you can stay up to date with everything that we've said. So that's a lot of housekeeping, but definitely check out our Telegram chat for more information. So I've been walking today, got a long old walk, and I saw little buildings around me. Do you like the buildings here in Novosibirsk?
Oh, very few of them.
Yeah, very few of them.
Yeah.
Opera house is good.
The opera house is good.
Yeah.
I like the shape of churches here.
The churches.
Yeah, the churches.
There are quite a few nice little churches here. Well, we're going to talk about architecture today, as you might have guessed by the introduction to this conversation. Yes. There's a church in the center of a town. Is that the one you mean?
There is one like next to, like not so far from here. It's you take the metro one station and it is an Orthodox church.
Yes.
Next to the park where there are some squirrels there.
Oh, squirrels. Do you feed the
Squirrels
squirrels?
are everywhere.
Yeah, I feed them. I usually go and feed them there.
Yes. Yeah, there's a few good churches here. So, Maria, do you go to the churches ever?
Well, from time to time. If I'm in a new city, I would probably consider entering a church or cathedral, especially if it is a historical one, like if it has some historical value. Because, well, I like the interior and the exterior also. Well,
Yeah.
Orthodox churches are more or less similar, but some of them are very different. For example, once I have been in Kronstadt, if you know, it's near St. Petersburg. And there they have a very interesting marine cathedral. It looks very different from typical Russian churches because it has this navy, interior. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I know you recently went to Kaliningrad. How different is the architecture there from the rest of Russia?
I guess it is more similar to the European architecture because, well, they still have some. Well, the city was pretty much destroyed by the end of the Second World War, but they still have some villas, for example, built by, I guess, Germans. And the cathedral was restored. It was destroyed, but then it was restored. It looks pretty impressive. I think probably it's the Gothic style, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it's supposed to. Does it have like a feeling? Do you feel like you're in old Germany or in the Weimar Republic or whatever?
I could imagine that. I haven't been to any type of Germany, either old or new, but I can imagine that it's something like this. It feels like a very interesting combination of Soviet Union plus modern Russia plus old European city. So interesting.
Yeah, because I recently went to Derbent, if you know, in Dagestan. It's right next to the Azerbaijan border and Russia. It's so amazing. The architecture there is like Iranian or Persian, I would say. I can't really describe it. And it didn't feel like I was in Russia. It was so amazing. But yet everyone spoke Russian and there were Russian signs everywhere. And it was so cool. I felt like in a different world from Novosibirsk. Well, what do you like the architecture here, Ayoub, in Novosibirsk? Generally speaking?
You can say no, because it's not only about Novosibirsk. I don't like the buildings in big cities, like just cubes and you build them up, I don't like such things. But I am more into old stuff.
Yeah. Old style architecture, yeah.
Old stuff.
What about you? Yeah. What about you, or are you more of an old?
I guess I like Soviet buildings, like the classical Soviet buildings. Like I don't know the name of it, but the specific kind of 9-floor building or 8-floor buildings. What's the name of it in Russian?
Devyatitashki, yeah.
I guess.
Well, Maria, yeah.
I guess so. I don't know.
I think we call them панельные девятиэтажка.
Yeah.
If it is what you're talking about, you mean just gray 9-floor buildings?
Yeah, kind of a typical Soviet era kind of buildings. They're kind of cool.
They're so cool.
They're cool, right?
Why? They're so gloomy.
They are gloomy, but they have the inside's like a gem. It's like a pearl. The way people take care of their apartments, generally speaking. So it looks so brutal on the outside and harsh and
but it's warm inside in a kind of, right? Like a small living area for you, only for you in a way. So that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I like those
we
places.
also have very typical Soviet, which is called панелька or панельный дом. So it's like, I think, 5 stories, and sometimes it's made of brick, sometimes it's made of like panels.
So you can easily assemble them in a short time.
But
so that's the point, right?
Yeah, it was in the times of Khrushchev, I guess.
Yes, they're also called, well, our Khrushchevki, they're always the 5-story ones.
I live in a 4-floor building, which is also, maybe they just ran out of bricks. I don't know. I really don't know. Like all houses are 5 stories and have 5 stories, and my house is like
4.
Yeah, 4.
Well, would you prefer to live in a Stalinka, which was, of course, from the Stalin age, which is more ornate but older, or would you prefer to live in a девятиэтажка?
I would prefer to live in Stalinka. Yeah, because these houses are more interesting from the outer side, and they also have better and more thoughtful planning inside. High ceilings, big windows, and good bathroom. Sometimes even bathroom with a window. For example, my grandmother and grandfather in Novokuznetsk lived in a house which was built in 1937 or 1934, and now it is considered an architectural monument of the, on the regional level.
Historical building.
Yeah. It is under protection.
So in England, we have these buildings called, or the UK, these buildings called grade listed buildings. And you could have a grade 1 listed building or a grade 2 listed building. I can't remember which one is which, but one means that you can you can't touch it at all.
You can change anything at all.
Yeah, for instance,
the same in Turkey.
For instance, Big Ben, you could not touch it except to make repairs, of course.
Okay.
Grade 2, you
it's
can.
It's not like Big Ben, of course, the house where my grandparents lived. But you can't maybe put air conditioning on the building, or maybe change the color. Or
you can refurbish it.
Sorry, but even if you are the owner, you cannot touch it.
Yeah, in England, if you buy, I can't remember if it's a grade 1 or a grade 2, but if you buy the more protected version, you can't really touch it at all.
I think it makes sense because one building, another building, and they all form the unity of the city.
Yeah.
And that's why, for example, Novosibirsk is quite a difficult city to look at, because it consists of patches, small patches, and nothing,
unified.
No unity.
But one thing I really admire about the Hrushevki and the Devyatitashki is how quickly they were built, and how
in several days, I think,
and how the genius of the design is amazing. And even though they might look ugly from the outside, they have such a history to them, and it's amazing. Like, I've heard somewhere that the staircases were designed to be just wide enough to fit a coffin. So if someone dies, you can bring a coffin downstairs without problems. And how these buildings also have the garbage chutes, which are the garbage pipes.
In Hrushevki, no. Only in this newer девятиэтажки, which were built, I think they are Brezhnevki.
Yeah, from the Brezhnev era.
Because девятиэтажки, it's from the Brezhnev time. Like, first it was the Stalin Empire architecture, or like kind of Soviet neoclassicism. They were big, prominent, nice buildings. You can see some of them, for example, in Moscow. And, well, they are kind of decorated. Then, after Stalin's death, Khrushchev took over the country, and he said, like, now we are going to fight all these ornaments and architectural abundance. We don't need it. We need simplicity, utility. We need it to be cheaper and faster. And
minimalistic.
Then, minimalistic. And then Brezhnev, and he started, well, not he, but they started to build this девятиэтажка thing.
I guess I would translate just 9-story building.
But I mean, if you say Brezhnevka, Khrushchevka, девятиэтажка, it is like more Russian cultural context. Because when we say dacha, we understand that it's not just a summer house, it's dacha.
You're right. When's trying to explain these terms to English people, it's better to just keep the Russian word. For instance, in Novosibirsk, we have this famous road, Krasny Prospect. I wouldn't translate it as Red Prospect. I would just leave it as Krasny Prospect.
Yeah, especially if someone is sending you some mail or parcel. The parcel would never come to you if it was sent to Red Avenue.
Exactly.
Even the south of it is beautiful, Krasny Prospect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. Yeah. Speaking of architecture, it is. So have you had a walk down the whole Krasny Prospect?
Not the whole of it, but I saw some stuff there. But I don't remember, to be like honest, exactly.
That's right.
But I remember that I liked it very much. There was also like a big square also where I walked.
Yeah.
But the thing about, like I said this before, For me, when I am in a city like Novosibirsk or like a big city, okay, I don't pay attention to architecture, but whenever I see something old, I get very interested in that thing. Like I told you about the church, about some other like old houses from this place. You can read when they were like built. All right. So I think there is something like university here, for example, just next to BigAppleSchool, and I thought it's a normal building. Then they told me that no, it's a university. So that's why I said like such type of architecture, I don't support it because university should look like university. And
you mean columns, more columns,
exactly,
make it more university-ish.
Well, there is
the Greek type,
the transport university. Have you seen that, Maria?
Sorry?
The transport university here in Novosibirsk. They have beautiful big pillars.
Yes, Dusik Kovalchuk Street.
I can't remember exactly.
Because I'm a bit confused, because I'm not a native, so...
I believe it's, of course you're from Novokuznetsk, I believe it's more, it's north on the right side. So maybe towards Alsovsky, maybe a bit further from...
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because I remember one university looks very nice, and it has lots of campuses and monumental.
Yeah, a group of students last year invited me out on a walk, and they took me there. It was really nice. It's a really cool building. And there was also this Dom Kulturi, which is like
culture house.
Exactly. Well done.
Yeah, I learned it.
And it had this beautiful old Stalin era architecture to it, which is really cool, right next to the university.
Yeah, because Stalin wanted to show the whole world that like Soviet people can do things.
Yes. Yeah, and the very ornate buildings, the Stalin era buildings.
I remember one building. I watched the video on YouTube. The building was kind of a circular. Have you ever heard about it? It was a kind of unique Soviet era architecture, but it was kind of a project, and they couldn't finish it. So circular building, like nearly 1,000 people can live in it, but they've never finished it. They couldn't finish it.
Do you mean like circular, like the perimeter?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So, do you know anything about that? It was in a video about an Soviet Union era, so I was into it. So wow, that was cool.
Where they wanted to house like 100,000 people or something crazy like that.
Yeah, kind of a circle and perimeter, as you said. So it was interesting.
Well, I know in St. Petersburg, there's like a new residential building which houses, I think it's several 10,000s of people. And it's absolutely huge.
In the same complex.
Yeah, in the same complex. It's absolutely huge. Would you guys like to live in a building that has over 20,000 people?
No, absolutely not.
So scary, so depressing.
Not for me.
It's like kind of like Black Mirror in a way.
And insecure also.
You should be able to see the sky at least once a day.
Yeah. Hong Kong was like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
so did you
coffin houses? Yeah.
Oh, cool. Did you have experience renting a place?
I visited Hong Kong, and I visited that coffin houses place.
Yeah.
So it was a nightmare,
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 square meters, people trying to live. Like think about this room, and it's kind of divided into 4 or 5. And everyone needs to just live into the cubicles, and they need to do everything into that area, including their toilets and everything. So
my God,
that was kind of
and you pay like a big amount of money,
like 1,500 or something for 2 square meter.
How do they sleep? Like bulk beds?
Yes, in a way. So that if you are sleeping by yourself, you are privileged. But like a 95% of people like sharing this, like a dorm, but like a cramped environment.
Yeah,
so it
that's
was
incredible.
Kind of,
I'd have a panic attack for this.
Yeah,
I would definitely have something like that. Yeah,
yeah. It's kind of getting like that in New York and London as well, where real estate is so expensive.
So expensive. So expensive.
Yeah. Well, speaking of New York, I love New York's architecture, even though it has this mix of like older, early 20th century mix, or even 19th century as well, mixed with.
I guess it has bits of like Art Deco style,
Yeah.
For example, Empire State Building or Rockefeller Center.
Yeah. Yeah, New York is absolutely amazing if you go there. It's just overwhelming how, in a good way, like how big the buildings are. And yeah, but living there is just outrageously expensive that you literally live in a cubicle if you have like an ordinary.
And pay lots of rent. So.
Yeah.
I saw some documentaries. They're like studio flat, like a small studio flat with $2,000.
Oh, even more now.
Like, even more. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really
Like $2,000 will get you like a place of rats,
and
maybe.
studio. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to live in New York, but it's just not viable at all, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, if you could choose one city for its architecture, which city would it be?
In Russia?
Anywhere.
I would like to speak about Russia first. St. Petersburg.
Go
It's
for it.
really,
Yeah.
it's very beautiful.
Have you been there?
No, not yet, but I will in June, I think.
Yeah, in Russia, I guess it is the most beautiful city in terms of like this architectural ensemble.
The
because,
Hermitage
like,
there.
It's all put together very, very nicely. And
But what I liked about it is that how it was built, historically speaking, Peter the Great, and how it's like he did everything, like the documentary I saw, if I am not wrong, it's like he had a lot of tasks to do only by himself. Like he had ideas and he put them into architecture, into art, into even like the style of wearing, dressing up, okay? So the Hermitage was I think it was his idea, right? So yeah, as I saw in this documentary, it was like 3-hour documentary. And it's really fascinating how a human brain can build all of this. And when I saw it, it's like it attracted me. Like I really want to be there. So in June, I will have the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely recommended.
St.
Peter the Great was
Petersburg,
such a boss, like how he went round Europe and brought all of it back to Russia. Yeah.
And I like if I speak globally, I would prefer Switzerland with those houses on hills, wooden houses,
mountain chalet.
Yeah, chalets or cabins. Yeah.
wooden cabins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
as opposed to Hong Kong, for example.
Yeah. So you can be relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah. But you were in Vietnam for a while. What was the architecture like there?
Ooh, it was kind of mixed. So pre-colonial era, like the French colonial era, they have lots of examples of French colonial architecture. Then their traditional Vietnamese architecture. So it's kind of mixed. Plus, you can also see American complexes in Saigon. So because it was kind of occupied by American in a way. So
Yeah.
Saigon was complete a mixture of it, but Hanoi was more traditional, more kind of like Vietnamese kind of.
And if you can choose one place just based on its architecture, where would you?
In Russia or
Anywhere.
Anywhere. In Europe, I would say Prague.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool place actually.
That's a nice city to live in. And in Asia, I would go for Bangkok, I guess. But Bangkok was good. Is good, yeah.
So is the architecture old school, or is it kind of like Vietnam where you have a mixture of?
It's a kind of a mixture of it. So in the city center, it's complete like high rises and everything, and you can find anything that you want in there, like in big city life. But like slums, suburbs, all right, that's kind of.
Well, I don't know too much about the history of Thailand. I know the Japanese tried to colonize it. Did the French have anything to do with Thailand, or they just went to Vietnam and Cambodia?
French were only in Cambodia and Vietnam,
Yeah.
as far as I know, but not in Thailand.
Oh, okay.
And Laos too, I guess. Yeah,
So it's probably just more of like a Japanese influence, maybe.
exactly.
And I guess a local influence too. Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
I would love to say the Netherlands. It's my favorite, has my favorite architecture of the whole world. It's
Like the channels and everything, you mean?
the canals, the canals, the houses. The houses are made in the center of a city of beautiful materials. Some houses are made from old ships, which are deconstructed, and they take the wood, and they're slanted houses. And it's just absolutely stunning.
Cool.
The Netherlands, yeah.
Netherlands.
And it's not just Amsterdam, it's Utrecht, Delft.
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam's more industrial, but still really cool as well.
Like a port city, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Delft, I think, has the best architecture of any place I've ever seen. It's absolutely stunning.
What about the architecture in Manchester?
It's pretty old school.
Is it also like industrial?
Yeah, in like a cool 19th century way. Yeah. Manchester has some pretty cool buildings, like terraced houses, which are pretty cool. Well, I believe you know about terraced houses and yeah.
Going back to Vietnam, there is a city called Damat there, right? Damat.
Damat or Da Nang?
No, it's like Damat, something like this.
Dalat.
With
Dalat.
L. Yes, with
the coffee center of Vietnam.
I've seen it like long time ago. There was something called the Crazy House.
Crazy
Yeah,
house.
it's actually, they call it the Crazy House, but it's an extension of a hotel. And this architecture doesn't exist on our planet. It's like it's from another planet, like a science fiction stuff, you know?
Oh, really? I never heard of it.
It's shapeless and it's like really weird. And it's a hotel. You can rent rooms there. It's a tourist attraction.
Oh my! You know more than I do.
But now I just watch a lot of documentaries and I have seen it before.
Is it some kind of a futuristic style?
More than futuristic. It looks like ancient and futuristic at the same time. It's like from another planet.
What is the name of the house?
The Crazy House.
Yeah, we need to
The Crazy House.
check it out.
I need to Google it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We'll look it up.
I never heard of it. Dalat. Yeah, Dalat is kind of city like in highlands.
Yeah.
The climate is completely different than the rest of the Vietnam. So you can make kind of terrace, like you can raise other products that you can't usually do it in Vietnam. So it's a kind of coffee epicenter of Vietnam, but I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And it's like it was constructed in 1990. And even now, they are still extending it further.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really
cool.
Yeah.
Nice new information. Thank you, Ayoub.
You're welcome.
So, yeah. What would you choose, Maria?
What was the question?
Which
city?
Yeah, which city?
In Russia, I guess, St. Petersburg.
Or just anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world? I don't know. I just must see London. Because I'm an English teacher. It's a must.
Yeah. London does have some pretty cool architecture.
Too,
yeah.
London's eye.
Yeah, of course.
It is pretty damn good, yeah. I mean, I still prefer the Netherlands because it's so homely and cozy and everything. But London has some magnificent buildings all around town.
Do you have anything to say about the architecture in Brazil?
Oh, good points. Yeah. Brazil's quite interesting. It has, especially the capital city. I've never been there, but it's called Brasilia. And it has a lot of brutalist architecture.
Is it the same like kind of Russian modernism and constructivism?
It's not too dissimilar. It's quite similar in many ways. Brutalism is just slabs of concrete in many ways, which I guess you can draw parallels between the two. I'm not an art historian, and I'm sure some art historians might get angry if you say the slightest wrong.
We are not experts, but like it looks more like constructivism or modernism than, let's say, Gothic or Baroque or something. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
definite.
Brutalist architecture is pretty interesting. I am personally a fan of it, but I can understand why people absolutely hate it. And it's really cold and brutal, as the name says.
And what about the inside of the houses? Are they also cold and brutal?
Well, generally speaking, I mean, it's such a hot country that
Brazil.
That you can deal with a bit of cold, brutal. Well, Brazil has a huge range of architecture and it can be stunning. I know towards the south of Brazil, I haven't really explored that part, but you have some more European influences and colonial influence from the Portuguese and maybe some German Nazis and maybe not actually Nazi architecture, but
I guess it's in Argentina, right?
Well, Argentina, Brazil had a lot of Nazis flee there, but
and do they have something like very traditional, very
well, definitely towards. Actually, not just towards the south. You do have some traditional architecture. I believe there are some old German buildings around the country.
Mm-hmm.
Brazil's a really fascinating place because you have so many different cultures from all over the world living there. At one point, they had the second biggest Japanese population in the world. It's not, I believe it's different nowadays, but at one point they had, a huge Japanese population, and they definitely had some kind of an influence. Sao Paulo, the city I was born in, the Japanese completely overhauled the city's infrastructure and made it much better in many ways. But I lived there as a child, so I didn't really pay too much attention to it. But Brazil's a pretty cool country in terms of architecture. There's some pretty wild mixtures. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So what about, does architecture make you depressed if you're around depressing buildings?
Yeah.
Brutalism, of course.
Brutalism.
Yeah. Or like a coffin houses in Hong Kong. So that's, you don't want to be there, you don't want to live there. So
that will give you clinical depression.
It's kind of a depressing experience.
What can you do to improve someone's mood who has no choice but to live in a coffin?
You should take Xanax.
Yeah, Xanax. That works. That works. Okay.
Maybe put some plants inside of the house. For some people it works. Or like try to make the interior a more vivid and
or fragrance.
bright.
Yeah, just make a relaxing kind of smells so you can just ease down. Anyways,
For some reason I just get such a adrenaline rush from the old Soviet buildings that I can't explain why I love them so much. I don't really understand it, but...
Are you into history?
I enjoy it. I mean, I'm far from an expert.
So maybe that's the reason. Like sometimes you feel the greatness of what the people who preceded us achieved,
Yeah.
And do you feel the same if you look at something like maybe more Greek, Roman, classical architecture, like Colosseum?
Oh, I absolutely appreciate it. Yeah,
vibes?
I guess so. Yeah, the Colosseum is absolutely stunning. Yeah, in Rome.
or Parthenon in Greece.
Yes, I've never been there, but have you been there?
Yes, that's quite cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to check it out. What did it evoke? What did it make you cry?
No. And it's, that's a nice tone. That's cool. That's a civilization. Yeah, let's start it all there. So, all right, let's go back.
It's a nice tone.
That was a good one. Yeah, it's a nice city. Greece. Athens is a nice city.
I'd love to check it out. Yeah. Well, does Algeria have a lot of historical buildings?
Yeah, sure. It's really very rich of history from the Roman Empire, from the Spaniards, from the French, from the Ottomans. So, for example, if I speak about my city, if you walk there in one city, like side by side, you can see the Ottoman construction, you can see the Spaniard constructions, you can see the French ones, and we have also a landmark on top of a mountain. It covers the whole view. It's called Santa Cruz. So it is built. Yeah, it's a statue, and it's built on the top of a mountain. So wherever you go in my city, you cannot get lost because it lifts your head up and you can see your way.
Plus a compass and over there.
Yes. And some people they get confused when they come to my city. They think it's European. But this was due to colonialism. So, for example, the French stayed in my country for 131 years. Before them, the Spaniards for some years also, the Ottomans. But for Ottomans, it was actually something different. It wasn't colonialism. It wasn't with a war, just, protection and stuff, all right, like this. And we had also the Byzantines in the past. So Algeria wasn't like a stable place. Like every some years we have colonialism there. We have also the cathedral. We have a synagogue and the cathedral side by side.
Oh, cool.
So the synagogue was built by Jewish people there. We had Jewish people, and there was a cathedral which was built by the French people. So it's amazing. If you just take a walk for half an hour, you can see all of this stuff. All
mixed.
Yes, in half an hour. It's in the city center. And also, you can see a lot of statues from the Renaissance period, right? Like angels and such stuff. Yeah.
So it really is worth checking out.
Yeah. It's really nice.
And are you talking about in Algiers or are you talking about
Oran?
Oran, yeah,
my
your
city.
hometown, yeah.
Oran.
Cool.
For Algiers, something different. You can see some stuff like this, but not so much. Yeah. And if you want to check some like Roman ruins, you have to go to the Sahara and some places there. So we have some Roman ruins. Romans were there. They settled down. They had irrigation system. They had commerce there. They had we have some history about it. And if you go further into the south, there is they have discovered recently a city. It's called the city of Safar. City of Safar. It's actually from the Stone Age, something like this. And there are some not caves, but some drawings on walls of these megalithic constructions.
Yeah,
it's a big city.
Drawings.
It's a big city in the middle of the Sahara, which is very hot. So even now, people, they don't live there. They cannot live there. But these people, they live there. And so you can see, it's really rich of history.
That's so cool. I'd love to check it out. I've never been there. I've been to Egypt, but I've never been to...
Yeah.
Is it completely different?
It's completely different. The problem, I have been discussing this with my friends all the time. Why isn't Algeria famous with this? Because of the government. So, for example, there was an American YouTuber. He found himself in Algeria by mistake. He was in Morocco, so yeah. And he said, this is a lost world that we have to show to the world, to the rest of the world.
It's not being kind of promoted.
Yeah, for example, they have this system that they are preservers, preservants. They like to preserve themselves, to corner themselves and to cut themselves off the world, the government, not the people. So maybe that's why. For example, they don't support tourism.
Maybe that could be a cool thing to check out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be around other tourists.
Sometimes tourists just spoil everything.
No, but we as Algerians, we don't support this. We want from people to see and to come and see, because it's
experience
really the culture, the everything,
Yeah.
The history, the culture.
I'm sure there's a lot to see. It's a huge country, of course,
yeah.
But I guess most of it's in the northern part. Well, most of the culturally worthy stuff's in the northern part of Algeria.
Yes,
The southern bit is just desert, isn't it?
But there are some cultures there also of Tuareg, we call them Tuareg.
Oh, I don't know actually.
Tuareg, they are tribes that move around the Sahara, and they are like human GPS. So you know that
human GPS.
I swear, yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah. For example, if you take a GPS with you in the Sahara, you will get lost because there are some places they don't have internet. Okay.
Yeah.
We have special devices of satellite GPS, but they are used only by the army, the military personnel.
Cool.
And but these people, Tuareg, they move around, and if sometimes the military asks for their help.
No way. That's
I swear,
so cool.
yes, I swear. Like
it's like Sherpas in Nepal, yeah?
Yeah, really, they are really skilled because it's their ground.
I just remembered there's a Volkswagen car Tuareg.
Yeah.
Volkswagen.
A Volkswagen,
like
there's a Tuareg.
SUV, right?
Maybe maybe that car is named after the.
Yes.
The
It's named after
Explorer
them.
Navigator kind of thing.
It's named after them actually.
Oh, that's so cool. Algeria needs to be visited.
Yeah.
It needs to be.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be the minister of tourism for.
I would change everything.
That was a good presentation. Yeah.
I would change everything. Believe me. Open the doors.
Vote for Ayoub for next one. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in the after show, maybe we can talk a bit about Turkey and Turkey's architecture. Perhaps we can do that. Because there's definitely a lot to say about that. So, guys, thank you very much for listening to the podcast right to the end, and definitely check out our website, which is www.BigAppleSchool.com. And there you can find articles, more podcasts, videos, and other cool stuff. Definitely share your comments in the comment section. Give us some suggestions for future podcasts. Or if you have questions or you want to practice your English, definitely give it a try in the comment section. Like I said earlier, also check out our private chat, where you can get access to the vocabulary list of words that were discussed in this podcast. And of course, you can see the after show segment. So guys, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.